Thanks, Cord. It's interesting, Tim. Gary Ablett starting forward. Kieran Jack's going to follow him into the goal square.
And Scarlett picking up Jesse White. Harley is taking O'Loughlin, and Harry Taylor at centre-half back on Adam Goods.
And Matner in the middle on Corey, so plenty of interesting moves as we get underway. Joel Selwood doing what Joel Selwood always does, getting in first for the ball and trying to dig it out.
Another interesting matchup I can see is Cameron Ling running around with Ryan O'Keefe, paying a lot of respect to him.
Joel Selwood not impressed. Here's Goods versus Taylor for the first time tonight, and certainly not the last. Corey out to Bartel. He had support behind him, and in front Mackie, a blind handball, not a good one as it turns out. Grundy though obliged by giving it straight back to Bartel, who's desperate but can't keep it inside the chalk. Poor exit from defence from Smith out on the full. Is it also a factor their analysis of the weaknesses or the strengths, or as Hawkins goes and might have got a free, and that'll make him feel better. Their analysis of Kieran Jack does, and they think that Ablett has that ability to above his head.
I think there wouldn't be a defender in the country that wouldn't be nervous playing on fullback on Gary Ablett, whether that's the role you play week in, week out. It makes him harder to tag. He's just pound for pound so powerful, Rob, and so quick.
Yeah. And I think Kieran Jack, his strength is in close where there's lots of bodies around. You know, he's a young player. He would be in awe of Gary Ablett, and he's exposed in the current situation.
Big kick for Tom Hawkins and his confidence early on. 22-14 for the season, and that's done enough. Cats away.
Holds him up. Selwood. Too strong for Hawkins, but there's a second line, and his name's Johnson, and he's kicked the Cats' second goal.
A thorough brow there of Paul Roos. Johnson got away from Bolton there. He ended up being
the kick
next to Barlow.
The kick wasn't intended for Johnson. Went over Hawkins' head, and Johnson read it perfectly.
Who's coaching the team, do you reckon, Rob?
I think Paul Roos is definitely coaching the team.
Kirk. O'Loughlin with the run and the ride and all the rest. Takes the mark over Mackie.
Game number 301, and an early leap.
Just checked himself well there. I think he was tempted to put his hand. You can see that. And at the last second, he just turned his shoulder and made sure he made more contact with the body, but there might have been a little touch.
Is there a case for a free kick?
Well, technically, maybe yes, but the umpire probably wasn't in a great position there.
Will he get the distance? Normally he would. Last week his kicking was off a little. 2
goals and 19 disposals in game 300 last week. His 15th season and last of AFL. It's a good question about the distance, Rob. It only just got there, but importantly, it did.
Oh, Mackie would have been excused for looking for the line there, but again, in keeping with their method, kept it alive. Mooney to Enright. Even he couldn't get out of there, but he had Varco to lend a hand. And this is danger for Sydney. Burns with time to steady, and make no mistake for Geelong's third.
They've kicked to one-on-ones, haven't they, Geelong, up along the half-forward flank.
Be prepared to do that, and as we keep saying, it's the play-on opportunity. It creates one-on-ones in your forward line, and as a forward, that's all you want. Some space and a chance to beat your defender one out.
The last half minute of a frenzied opening quarter. Geelong having the better of it, but Sydney very competitive. And what a leap and mark that is from White, who is becoming a potential target forward for them. He kicks in a hurry. They could get a late goal. Jared Moore takes it low down, and it's a close-in shot, although the angle will make him nervous.
And he took one of the marks of the year. Paul Roos is standing about a metre in front of him, and he said to Jesse White, get up and kick it in there as quick as you can. Don't worry about the hang you've just taken, and he did, and now they've got an opportunity to kick a goal after the siren.
Well, you've got to ask yourself, what was Mark Blake doing running away? He should have been guarding the mark.
Important kick here, and well executed by Jared Moore, and Sydney put themselves within 7 points at the end of a tremendous first quarter.
Yes, a wonderful opening quarter, and Geelong lead by 7 points, 3-4-22 to 2-3-15. A big Saturday night ahead. Stay with us.
Geelong try and set it up again, but the path home is a somewhat elusive one, and the kick here a bit strong for Ablett. His man Kieran Jack provides a good contest. There'll be a ball up.
Hawkins playing more as a push-up centre-half forward. Mooney staying back towards the goals in this second term.
Been quite Cam Mooney, Rob, just 2 disposals.
Yeah, Roberts-Thompson playing well on him. Plenty of space for Mooney. Here it goes.
Bartel, and there's a whistle, and there's a free to Mooney, and he wins the reward for putting himself in the right spot.
And Tim, again, they set up at the stoppage Geelong by opening up the 50 for one player, as you can see. Puts a lot of pressure on the defender. Bit of panic, a bit of a hold by Roberts-Thompson. Free kick to Mooney.
Yeah, big one for Cam Mooney here, isn't it?
Well, this is the distance where he struggled from about 35 out.
He's got to start getting them right. And he does get it right. The Cats get the first goal of the second quarter.
Bolton, Smith, Hanbury sneaks through. Ablett back on the ground, patched up for the Swans. Smith crossed the body, Scarlett with the read. Takes the mark.
Next goal's a big one in this game. Low scoring.
Scarlett kicked into a contest, and a contest in which Sydney had the numbers, and Bevan can give to O'Loughlin.
Well, we've seen Scarlett 3 times kick twice down the throat of the opposition, and that one to a contest where it came straight back. And Matty Scarlett's a star, but at the moment he's in the horrors.
So is that just rust that can accumulate on a few weeks off?
Yeah, I think hasn't missed too many games, Matty Scarlett. Been very resilient. You have a week off, takes you a while to find your touch back. It's the bold way they play. They'll always take a risk, but came unstuck.
O'Loughlin been dangerous again, just within range, and again he does the job. Swans within 5 points.
It's okay, got through to Corey. Changed the angle up here. Mackie with a little bit of space in front. He likes the look of Lonigan coming over the top, and you can see why.
Good call, Hutto. Well, they were patient with the build-up. And Joel Selwood has applauded his teammates who are outside of the forward 50 for their patience and their passing.
And don't underestimate how good a kick that was. Hutto called it beautifully. He spotted Lonigan. He knew that it was exactly there in the right way. He had to kick it perfectly because every Swans player was in defensive 50, and he got it in the exact right spot.
It was a bit like Sydney at their best in a way, wasn't it, with the way they were patient outside the 50. Now, Tom Lonigan has spent a lot of time up forward. It looked like a defender's kick, but it's a forward's result.
Cats looking to string a couple together, and they could. That was a good lead and a lovely kick.
What they did, Tim, they had that cluster. They waited. They had the forwards all grouped together with their Sydney opponents, created space to lead into. Has to be a perfect kick, which it was.
Well, Steve Johnson hasn't trusted himself to kick a goal from there, but Selwood was interfered with by Kirk, front on.
Bit of a test for Selwood, this kick too. Not a massive goal kicker.
Let's have a look at the cluster in the background, and you can see the forwards then have got space to lead into. Orchestrated that very well, the Geelong forwards.
Good point you made, though, about Steve Johnson not having a shot for goal. You'd think in most cases he would have in the past.
Let's see what Selwood could do. Not a lot of contact in that, but he got the free, and he squeezes it home. And the Cats have their biggest lead of the night.
Caressed the kick to centre-half forward, where Matner has played in a variety of positions tonight. Scrubs the kick. Jack was on. Ablett couldn't keep his feet. O'Loughlin still nimble. Off to Bolton. Low ball on the bounce. Jesse White. Terrific stuff. A goal at one into Selwood, and at the other, Kirk responds.
Sydney have found an answer.
Three guys coming straight through.
2.5 minutes here before half time. Pike matching it with Mumford. In fact, getting the better of him. To Jude Bolt. Grundy in the front half. Reshaw in the front half. Sydney dangerous. Oh, right. Too good for Scarlett. Not paid. Paid it. It's paid. Got to come back.
Kick again. Coming inside 50, Tim, from Reshaw. Great body strength from Jesse White. He's going to be a very good player, this young man. He's used his strength. Have a look at the mark. Yeah, good decision. But Reshaw is the #1 effective kick player in the competition this year. And the advantage is that he just put it to the right spot, made it really hard for Scarlett.
Scarlett may have touched it, but
give him the benefit of the doubt.
yeah, I reckon it's a mark. You don't see that happen often. Scarlett beaten in a contest like that. And White finishes it off and has Sydney back within a goal.
That's it.
Bevan has Jude Bolton fanning wide. More effective on the transition than Geelong. And that's a good placement. O'Loughlin arriving. Ablett was there as well for Sydney. A hold and a free kick Sydney's way. Gee, they look well covered there, so it's a bad free kick to give away.
Scarlett on O'Loughlin.
That was it.
It was really unnecessary. And now Mapner, who is a very good kick of the ball, although not a regular source of goals, is in a good position to kick one and put Sydney within 2 points.
He's kicked 10 goals, 3 for the year too.
You back him. Man on the mark, 25 out. Angle slight. Kick good. Game right on. Neil Cordy, you've got something for us.
Yes, Timmy, just noticed that the players have obviously been slipping throughout the day, but it's not so much a dew that's on the ground, it's just the lushness of the grass, and it's quite firm underneath. That's causing the problem.
Moore saw a little opening, broke his way through it, gives to Hennebury, and the schoolboy puts the Swans in front.
What Jesse White provides Sydney in that situation is a kick down the line. He just launches at the footy, splits the pack open. They get a get-out kick. Doesn't always mark it, but the forward structure's working better than Geelong's.
Corey and Corey seem to work so well together. And now Mackey to Mooney.
Gee, it was a good kick by Mackey. And Paul Roos will be disappointed. The Geelong kick-in was able to swing from one end of the ground to the other, as easy as that.
Gee, they got out quickly, didn't they, right?
They did. Corey got out and got it to Mackey. Mackey backed himself and running back with the flight of the ball as Mooney is there. Very hard for a defender to spoil. It's a perfect kick. Good lead, good space behind Mooney to get into.
Directly in front.
Does he need this?
Yeah, well, he's still got his issues, hasn't he? Kicking Whites.
Well, it's like the team pressure's on him now as well. Not just his personal demons nibbling at him. He stands up. He puts Geelong back in front.
Small men. They work well together. Corey for Mooney. Now it's only Stokes versus Shaw inside the 50. He had to get it in there quickly if he was going to. Wait until Mackey came. That turned out to be a pretty good option. Swans have got numbers back. Mackey sets it to the top of the square. And Hawkins has gone away again.
It's a great mark. It's a terrific kick again by Mackey. We saw Mackey hit Mooney. We've seen Mackey hit Hawkins. Let's have a look at what happened just seconds ago. Top right hand of screen. And there's a Cam Moon fist on the chin of Ryan O'Keefe. And I think that will be looked at, Tim.
It will. There was a second response from O'Keefe as though a little bit of exaggeration went into it. But there's no doubt that the fist was clenched, contact was made.
Had 17 goals, 12 from set shots coming tonight. Got one and missed one so far. Hawkins, this is big, and it's straight enough. But they have got away.
So
It's risky stuff, isn't it?
it's an entertaining game.
Would the rush behind have been all right there, Daz?
Well, he might have been flirting with their chances there, I think, Tim. They took the ball back themselves. But I'm just looking at these champions from Geelong saying, you know what, we are going to rise to the challenge.
Jude Bolton, though, pushes Sydney forward. O'Loughlin to Mapner for his second goal in the corner.
Back to Ling. Taylor on his wrong side, but has the opportunity to steady and chip it along the line. Sneaky Jimmy Bartell's got the half forward, left foot. Mooney with an extra number to contend with. As it hits the turf, it falls Geelong's way. Burns uses his major attribute, which is his pace, to nail a crucial goal.
Yep, throw Paul Chapman back in and a few others that still to come.
Last quarter means so much. Swans finals chances riding on it as well, don't forget.
They've started Gary Ablett in the forward line. Kieran Jack going with him. Again, they've got that cluster and space to move into. They do that really well, Geelong.
It was well organised, wasn't it? Mooney ran so fast and so hard. He got a long way from goal. Ablett almost, but not quite. He hasn't given up yet, and you can see why.
So he's going to stay inside 50 for a little longer.
Jolly, the ruck and the rove. The kick not great. It is a high-hanging mongrel. Bartel back with the flight. More though the crumb. And Kirk to Goods. He could be the breaker for Sydney. And he might just break it here. He might go all the way. And in game 250, he kicks an absolute cracker.
Oh, got the handball away. Mackie done some damage tonight. Can he land one more blow? Sized it up. Mooney's in the best position to mark. And he does. And he handballs. And Burns puts it through. Bang.
So again, the heat on the Swans, who have to reply. Geelong kick the next. The order becomes very tall. And Selwood's on the break. Geelong dangerous. Mooney with the set. Oh, he's rising to the moment. He puts the Cats 22 points in front. The Moon Dogs got it back.
Yeah. We saw O'Keefe slip and Ablett slip. This ground's got different patches of turf.
Oh, that has beaten about 4 of them. Lonigan. And again the Cats are forced backwards. Harley. Can they hold their nerve? Gillies. Luke Ablett crashing through. Opening the door. Hennebury. O'Loughlin runs it. Home.
Grundy trusts the left boot. And young O'Dwyer able to edge out Hogan. Leaves him behind as he heads to half forward. And to O'Loughlin.
Bevan's out.
He's clear, Bevan. And O'Loughlin's still pretty light on his feet. After all these years, a lovely pass to Bolton as the Cats' defence were panicking a little bit, trying to get back to the goal square. Bolton was able just to prop. And now this becomes a very big kick.
Well, there were 3 experienced Cat defenders there, Harley and Scarlett, and they zoned off Michael O'Loughlin. They gave him too much space. Quick rebound caught them out.
So Bolton to cut it back to 11 points. It's a beautiful kick. And we've still got a game ahead of us.
Free to Ablett, who's rising in the last quarter. He wastes no time. Mooney will turn it in. Roberts Thompson. This game is rising to the heights in the last term. The magnificent contest.
It's the best advertisement for football in the west of Sydney you could possibly hope for.
Play on, not 15, play on.
Gives to Moore, to O'Keefe in a contest. And Joel Corey can go all the way and kick another goal. And the lead is back out to 17.
Play on.
Enright cutting it fine there. Goes for distance. Smith in front did well. Allowed Shaw to come in and back it goes to Smith. And his delivery is excellent. And Adam Goods has just worked so hard tonight.
This will be their 3rd shot at goal in about 1 minute. They need to convert.
Good win there from Nick Smith. Jimmy Bartel, we know how strong and how good overhead he is. Just outpointed him.
So, Adam Goods, as you can see, 18 disposals for the night. And he's just kicked the 1 goal. He's equal leading goal kicker now for the season with Barry Hall. This is a big kick. Suddenly the Swans are back under 10 points. They just won't go away. What a night at the footy.
Swans have been very efficient in the 50 this quarter. Blake the tap. Kirk the ball. Mackie. Stokes down the back end. Burns under pressure. Corey, the fix-it man for Geelong. Open front half. Mooney, Roberts, Thompson with the big job. Still the Cats prevail at ground level. This is dangerous for Sydney. Johnson for Hawkins. Well done by Grundy. Just harassed him enough. And Bevan outpointed Bartel. Back to Grundy. The Swans hold up under immense pressure. And it's Jolly's ball.
This is just great stuff, isn't it? Right up to the wing.
No.
Through the bootlaces of Shaw, Stokes, Ling. They're lining up at half forward. Corey, he'll take an extra step. It's a low, scrappy ball. Hard one for anyone to handle, but the Swans with great expertise do it with ease. And Grundy comes away with some assistance from Bolton. Where to next? Hugs the flank. And Ablett and Enright see it out.
Just had both ruckmen before. We could see they were that tired they couldn't get to a boundary throw-in. Darren Jolly has wheeled himself, worked himself back into defence to help out. Had 3 important possessions, and Blake, he's just hung around at centre wing.
And he got the tap down to Selwa. They weren't able to make the most of the extra man. Sneaky play from Kieran Jack, almost through their legs. Got it to half forward. Hanbury versus Johnson. Oh, they came from all angles. Great commitment. We're seeing it from everyone. Mooney brushes a few aside. Johnson had an airy. In swoops O'Loughlin. Swans are away. He kicks quickly to Ablett on one leg. It gets through to O'Keefe. Oh no, says the Cats. Oh yes, says O'Keefe. Oh boy, says everyone. What a finish. The Swans just keep on keeping on. The margin is back to 4 now.
The David Johnson fresh air kick. Just not good enough. You'll see it come up here. They're all tired, we know that. But that is a really disappointing effort. And he goes to ground, he's out of the contest. And Sydney willed themselves forward. Vital stage of the game when that happened. And that'll give the Swans an enormous amount of confidence to see a Geelong player do that. Needed to have the extra effort to go after the footy, win the footy, get a handball or a quick kick instead of a kick and hope.
Massive clearance coming up this one too.
Geelong got the lead out to 22. It's now back to 4. The point should be made. These two clubs have never played a draw. Corey. Quick kick, miraculous save again by the Swans. Craig Bolton, who's done that many times down the years. To Jude Bolton, to Barlow. Sydney looking for a goal to put themselves in front. Adam Goods.
Harry Taylor back on Goods, struggling to go with him.
That was ambitious. And Hogan stands in the way for Geelong. A lot of time left. It feels as though this last quarter has gone for an hour. Hogan to Steve Johnson.
Ablett.
Out wide, a long way from home. There are 4 men in the 50. 2 from each team. Wide lead from Hawkins. Very wide. Grundy sees it over.
Ablett's got a new opponent. Kieran Jack's had him for the entire game, and now Paul Bevan, I think, going to try and sit on him.
Throw in inside the 50. It's been a highlights package all in one quarter this last term. O'Keefe takes the advantage. Bolton for more, looks to the other side. Sees more Cats jumpers than Swans, hence the decision to hold things up. Played it quite smartly, and now they use the extra body. Grundy, again, doesn't have a lot of teammates along the line. Didn't help that Goods went to ground. Moody's loose. He's inside 50. Will he keep going? He does keep going now. He maybe wishes he didn't. Ablett, if anyone can find a way, it's him. No, straight up and down. Stevie Johnson took the crash, but play on is the call. And Shaw comes away, and comes away in style. The Swans are surging again.
Pushing it back. He uses it so well, O'Loughlin. He uses it so well.
It's been good tonight, hasn't he? 3 goals for O'Loughlin.
Stokes can't run with Reece Short.
Here goes Matner with that destructive left boot. Here's Goods. Oh, just couldn't hang on. And Bartel relieves for Geelong. And it's a good kick too for Harley, who has the boundary line as his friend. And he embraces it. Still nearly 6 minutes left. And both coaches barely capable of a speech, I'd imagine. Coherent speech anyway. Big Mike Pike It would have been his first kick of the night. I'm not sure it'll go into the stats book. Matner again. Bartel couldn't hang on. Harley. Bartel with him. And a ball up is the outcome.
Gee, the crowd right into it. What a game we've seen here. Best game I've seen at ANZ Stadium.
Gee, it's going to take a lot out of both sides no matter the result. Probably not what Geelong are looking for running into the finals. What they are looking for is a victory. The Swans likewise want to keep their finals hopes alive. Bartel, no one to give it to. Moore was there. Eventually Stokes came to lend a hand. Bit of a push, bit of a shove. Well done by Grundy. Mark Pay. He's an improved player, isn't he, Grundy? He looked to be really battling for his career up until this season. He's found his niche at centre half back. Lots of Geelong jumpers there. Atlett in familiar style, taking on the world and winning. Corey to half forward. Mooney. Will he keep it in? Well, he tries to. Not sure. Oh, he didn't keep it in.
He tried hard, Cam Mooney.
It was a late whistle.
Yeah, it was. He was a long way back. You'll get to see where he is, actually. Fair way back, but yeah, good call.
Now give us a decent throw-in, son.
Geelong by 4.
He's tired too.
Selwood. Familiar pose.
I'll tell you what,
last man to hand it to the umpire.
it's one-on-one all over the ground. No players behind the ball. Both coaches saying, if we're good enough, we'll win it on merit.
No sign of Nick Davis lurking around the boundary line, is there, Hunter?
Steve Johnson better be careful. Steve Johnson and Craig Bolton. I don't think the umpires saw what happened there. I'm not sure I did either, but Bolton's down.
We are into the last 5 minutes. Geelong by the skin of their teeth. Gillies giving it up. Shaw spinning out of trouble. Did it beautifully. Goods on the half volley, close to the line. All executed under fierce pressure. Bartel for Geelong. Giving it to the big man Mumford. Not a bad placement. Oh, Steve Johnson dropped an easy one. Needs to be good. Eyes in the back of his head. Burns. Mooney couldn't hang on. Mackie, still a chance for the Cats. Mooney, they load again. Harley, the captain, needs to be responsible. Needs to be good. Oh, he's 1-on-2 here, and the two are the big men. Better the mark.
Stokes has got to do better than that. Just bring it to ground.
He didn't have a lot to go to, did he, Harley, then? But it was pretty low percentage. Smith with the exit for the Swans. Jolly's a pretty reliable option. He thought he had enough of it. The umpire begs to differ.
Jolly and Munford, this boundary throw in here has been enormous, Darren Jolly. Really opportunity to win every clearance. So vital now. Just minutes to go in this game.
Mumford, Bartel over the top. Did that very effectively. Mackie, Hawkins. Hawkins almost takes it all the way. Not quite. Burns. O'Dwyer. What a match for him. He didn't panic, and he's done very well. And he gets it out of bounds. Time starts to be an issue now for the Swans, though.
Geez, that was smart play at the last stoppage from Jimmy Bartel. To sum it up, you've got an inexperienced ruckman in Mumford against a dominating ruckman in Jolly. We'll see if he tries it again. Sydney should be awake to it.
Still plenty of time.
Got a man back now, Geelong. It's Harley.
Jolly the better of things there. Barlow gains some territory. Geelong with the numbers. Enright and Harley. And Enright's the last man standing. O'Loughlin's found a new lease of life. But Geelong hold. Scarlett to Mackie. Man coming from outside his range of vision, but he could hear him. Umpire calls play on. Time important here. Scarlett. Too early for Geelong to start icing it.
And this is interesting, Tim, because it goes against the grain of the way they played and the way they played so well. So they've slowed it down.
It's just that Swans are back in such numbers.
Mackie has been very good in this crunch game.
I'm guessing on the clock the quarter will run to sometime between 32 and 33. Highly unofficial, of course. Steve Johnson, Hogan, clever. Blake, can he hang on? He can't. Swans in numbers. Matner under pressure from Hawkins. Good tackle. Jude Bolton. He's tied up. Ball up.
you, good tackle.
9 goals in the first 20 minutes. We haven't had a goal since then. 4 points the difference. Blake. Jolly. Another ball up.
Thank you.
So maybe the quarter won't run as long as you're suggesting, Tim, but who knows, it might. 4 points the difference still. No one back in the goal square. All the numbers around the ball. Jolly with the tap. Hogan with the handball. Johnson, Mooney. He was going to kick it into the space, but Bolton refusing to yield. The Swans into the night sky. Anyone's ball on the wing. Geelong with the numbers. Enright, they're going to go back. Retrace the steps across half back. Scarlett will be in no hurry, and he could go into the middle, and they've still got Harley loose. The umpire gets involved. Bartel decides to go out to Ablett versus O'Dwyer. And Ablett does what he did to Jack for most of the night, turns him inside out.
Again, Mackie.
Yeah, and Corey's along the line if he wants him. He chooses not to go. So 30 minutes now have elapsed. It's getting late. He goes for Mooney, and Mooney takes the mark.
What a kick. What a kick. He just pinged it hard and low. Saw Mooney on the lead, a little bit of space in the pocket.
He couldn't kick a goal from there, surely, on form.
Well, it's the easy ones sometimes that are the hardest to kick.
In some ways, if he kicks it behind, Sydney get possession of the footy, and it gives them a chance.
But by having the shot for goal, he's used up a bit of time, didn't use up his total time. Adrenaline pumping for the Cats. It's not a goal, and now the scenario we discussed. Are behind, and the Swans win the footy. It's over to you, Sydney, and it's over to you, Reece Shaw.
And he's got the legs. He's got some creativity, but it might come off. Harley couldn't hang on. Sydney with numbers. Jack trying to prize it out.
That was really brave play from Reece Shaw then. He had nothing along the boundary line, so he said, you know what, I want to win this game. He kicked it in the corridor, and it nearly came through the hands and out the back.
Had to go for it, and he did.
Cats by 5 points, playing almost for their lives, and they've won it. The gallant Swans failed by a kick against Geelong as they did against St Kilda. Geelong are still there. They've still got to be beaten.